Hello, welcome to the Daily Political Tarot Readings here on the Black and Orange channel. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I am here 365 days of the year, and to answer your political questions out of the chat and see what's going on in the news. If anything in all caps in the chat is how you talk to me. Other than that, please just type normally when you're talking to others, because people have whole conversations, are really supportive and of each other, kind to each other, which is wonderful. So 10% of my income from everything Black and Orange goes to Feeding America, which supplies food to food banks across the country. It's an ongoing thing. And we have epic troll slayers who keep us safe. Also, thank you to everybody for the super chats and for the PayPal. Thank you. It really makes this possible. This is not a lot of readers. For a lot of readers, this is like a lost leader, because they're trying to, because they also offer personal readings, but I don't. So this is kind of it. So thank you. Makes a big difference. It makes this possible. Okay. There's so much to read on. Oh my gosh. There's no way I can get to it all today. I had my 12 questions like that. And also, one day soon here, I want to read through, unfortunately, I don't have this in a place where I can, oh wait, maybe I can show you. Maybe I can show you. Hang on. One thing we need to read on soon, statutes of limitations are starting to run out, or are about to run out. And let me download this and open that. There we go. And I'll be able to show you this because it's quite the thing. It is quite the thing. There's this graphic showing. Hang on, sorry about this, guys. Share screen. Window. Here. Oh, you can see it. There, you can see it. This was on Twitter, but this is the statutes of limitations and when they're expiring for all these different things from the Mueller report. And conduct regarding the Flynn investigation, the statute of limitation expires in February. So, yoy. So at some point, we really do need to read on that. So, but can't even get there today. There's so much happening, and so let me jump right in. Okay. Oh, thank you, Jean Dorsey. Thank you. Okay, at 3:30, we're going to jump right into the funniest story of the day. And it's funny. I mean, it's one of those laugh or cry because we almost lost our democracy. But we didn't. Lose our democracy. Awesome. This is awesome. In fact, let me share it with you the way I found out about it. From Kristen from Uncover the News. Thank you. Kristen also reposted a couple of questions other people had left that she was worried would disappear. And they did disappear, but I got them because she reposted them. So thank you, Kristen. Thank you. Okay, you got to see this. So this is this news. Okay, so this was the first. Hang on, let me close this. This was the headline that I saw. Oh no, I said too much. Right? So what did he say? Ready? Ready? I kid you not. Oops. Whoopsies. Shouldn't have said that. So that's where we're starting today. Yeah. Peter Navarro. Whoops. The FBI. Peter Navarro suggests FBI incited the MAGA riot to stop his coup attempt from working. Oh boy. Navarro appeared on Steve Bannon's War Room podcast to explain his last-ditch plan to keep Trump in power, and he went so far as to claim the only reason it failed was because the FBI incited the Capitol riots to disrupt the plot. As evidence, Navarro pointed to the one MAGA rioter who allegedly incited violence at the Capitol, but who was apparently not charged by law enforcement officials. Quote, the only explanation that would make sense is if he were working for the FBI to instigate the violence. And the only reason they would try to instigate that violence is to try to stop Donald Trump from getting a legal accounting of what happened. So instead of Donald Trump in the White House, we got Joe Biden. Oh, there's a video. Well, there's a link. There's a link in the description. Oops. So, Peter Navarro, what's going to happen with you? Doxy Mom says, open mouth, insert foot. Yes. Mimi Eichholtz. Oh my gosh, that was extra dumb. DDN saying, oh, he's a bright one. Peter Navarro. Revolution Ricky saying, I think Peter Navarro opened his mouth and his brain didn't know what he said. Teresa Ford, all the feet, many, many feet. It's the burden. It's the burden of the right-wing agenda, what they tried to do. But look at the look on his face. It's kind of like a, these, Hang on, I need this light. Okay, sorry. Oops. Eight of Wands, Sun, Temperance, 10 of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. So this was what they attempted. These were the white supremacists they had who are really planning ugly, ugly stuff. This is the Trump dynasty, and he and his people were trying to continue this Trump dynasty. Princess Ivanka. Thank you, Wrestling Reigns. This is Temperance right in the middle. Why is there Temperance in the middle? Is that Temperance card? Is it giving them enough rope to hang themselves with, metaphorically? What's going to happen to Peter Navarro? Page of Pentacles. He's not one of the big names. He won't end up being one of the marquee banner names. Okay, 5 of Wands on the defensive. Queen of Wands, he was one of many. Moon. Whew, death card. And this is my card of evidence all laid out. I think Navarro's in trouble. If you have a major, this is major arcana. So this is, the energy is like, in comparison, it's like this. Compared to these cards, energy-wise. And if you have that in your future, it's not literal. It doesn't have to be literal. But oh, that's a big, and it's right next to the card of evidence. It's between the card of evidence and chaos. So really, these are the major arcana. So there, we can think of them as being much bigger. So, but he doesn't feel like a central. He's not going to be the big name. He's not as important as he thinks he is. Trump the man, or a man who's who was part of the insurrection and whatnot. King of Pentacles. There's that evidence card again. 9 of Cups. Hemmed in. They're gonna seriously hem him in. I'm not getting anything beyond that. I'm getting a death card, and I'm getting him being hemmed in. But what that turns into ultimately, seems like the energy's a bit of a tangle. If I can get anything else. Are we going to be held to account? Will there be charges of sedition or legal charges? Okay, that's a legal choice. That's an investigation. Investigators of his work and his bullying. I'm not getting a final. I'm getting this is going to be bad for him, but I'm not getting the ultimate, he's going to prison. He's not going to prison. So that's all I'm getting. But it's not looking good for him. You can say that. All right. Oh, Hippie Sue has drinks. Good day, everyone. Coffee, tea, broth, hot chocolate, or your special drink has now arrived. Enjoy. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Hippie Sue. Just what I wanted. Oh, these people are just brain donors, aren't they? Okay. So at 13:30, Dawn Cup, a bit of a tangle. Autumn's beautiful understatements. Thank you. Russell reads, would that be signified as an 8 of Swords? It could be, but my going to prison card is usually the 6 of Swords, and the 8 of Swords is more being hemmed in, legally hemmed in, or you're really put in a corner, so maybe that will cause him to turn on others, give evidence against others. I'm not sure. But that's usually what I get, and it's what it feels like. So Doxy Mom says, how is Sarah and family? I think they're okay. I've been talking to Sarah. She seems okay. I think the baby, the 8-month-old, went home from the hospital, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe. Let's hope so. But is still ill. So, oh, Wrestling, thank you for being here. Oh boy. Okay. At 14:30. Let's move on to Rhonda's question. And again, this and the following question by Susie Two Time, they were both reposted by Kristen, so they weren't lost. So thank you. Okay, so at what's more like 14? Well, let's just do 15. Okay. So Rhonda's question was, what can we do as Americans to stop the Orangerumpican from being the presidential candidate for 2024. What can we do? Well, not much to stop him from being a candidate, but because we're Democrat, or at least I'm a Democrat. I think most of you are. Unless you're an independent, maybe you can vote in the primaries, but I can't. So whoever they put up on the right, they put up on right. But is there something we can do? And is it even a is there even any point to trying to stop it? Because all this stuff is about to come out on him, and all this legal stuff he's going to be all caught up in. How great would it be if Cy Vance or his successor came right out of the gate with freezing assets rather. Mar-a-Lago, Trump Tower. Freezing Trump assets around the world. I wonder if they could do that. That would be a good day, but anyway. Trump becoming the presidential nominee for 2024. It is pretty scary, the thought that he might be. Oh boy. World card. Yeah, he's going to be busy. So, 10 of Swords. That's legal swords in his metaphorical back. Excuse me, that is the Emperor. Aggressive law enforcement, Knight of Swords. 6 of Swords, people going to prison. Queen of Cups, and that is people going to prison, and this isn't even, this is more financial stuff. Then you get the January 6th and the other stuff that's going to, there's so much coming at Trump from so many different directions. So, okay, hang on a second. I need to blow my nose. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. So I don't see him running for office, really. Charlene Gonzalez says, did you see the letter Cy Vance wrote to Trump in 2016? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, we talked about that. Oh, yes. Doxy Mom says you look good in jewel tones. I think that is what you mean. Thank you. You have beautiful jewel tones. Thank you. Thank you, Doxy Mom. They were, growing up, they were my favorite, so. Star. Big public flash bulbs flashing. 2 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, 3 of Pentacles. Disruption. Disruption for his business. January 6th stuff. Like Georgia. It just goes on and on and on. So I better turn this on. Turn my little humidifier on. So if you see some smoke, something wafting in, it's just mist from this little humidifier. Okay. Indigo Chrysalis Tarot. What is the name of your deck? This is the. Actually, I can even update this. This is. She said, shooting right past the information she needed. This is the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. I am updating that. Underneath the questions in the description box is a direct link. You can go right to it. All right, so that's in the description box. Okay, so back to this. Susie Two Time has a question, and it was funny because I was talking to Sarah this morning, and that name, it just had me. There's a song by the 1975 called Two Time. So I had that going through my head. So I finally had to just like play the video. But anyway, Susie Two Time had a question at 20, let's just say 2030. And the question is, will the USA ever break free from right-wing harm or control and heal and evolve? Will this far-right fever break? Renier says, I just got that deck delivered this morning. Oh, wow. This afternoon, I'm going to be busy with it. Oh, excellent. So, will the far-right fever break? Will the far-right fever break? It does feel like there is a point at which it will break suddenly. I would have thought it would just be like simmering down, but and it's something about an election, like an election day, like a drop. I don't know what election day, but an election day, that's what it feels like. This gets complicated. One of the reasons is that Trump was able to what's the word? Get away with. Let's just say get away with what he was able to get away with is because he was pushing on these white supremacy buttons. But the average Republican will tell you they are not racist. Even though they sure act like it, but they'll tell you they're not. And the more this card gets played, the more that sort of on the fence Republicans or more moderate Republicans are like, you know, this is getting to be too overt, too all-consuming. They can't deny it as much, but this becomes a problem. You'd think it would have been a problem for a long time here, but okay, we'll take what we can get. And if you are a racist, you are a rotten human being. And if you support Trump, doesn't really bode well for, gee, am I a racist or not? Page of Cups, Knight of Cups, King of Swords, Fool, and the burden of the far right. Yeah. Will the fever dream break? Yes. And it's because of the prosecutions. It's because of all the court stuff. And this fool, we know who that is, the burden of all of his far-right garbage. It will break. Resin Reed says, but Autumn, your parents? They're not bad. They're good people. I don't know. Jolie says, oh, yes, and they'll say there's no white privilege in the U.S. My parents are good people. However, I love my parents. I think there's some denial going on, but Rasson Reed says they raised a wonderful daughter. Thank you. Thank you. So, and I love them. I love them deeply. My mother is my heart. She really is. We just don't talk about politics. Greta says, do you think your parents would vote for Trump again? They don't like him as a person. But if he was the Republican candidate, but I love my parents. I do. You only get, and they've stood by me through really dark times and anyway. 2630. I don't mean to speak ill of them. That's not my intention at all. They're Trump supporters. They're very right wing. Okay. Karen B says the Atlantic magazine is saying that the former president's son told a crowd that the teachings of Jesus have gotten us nothing. Dude, you are nothing. Judith Saunders says they're not bad people. They've been lied to. We need to help them no matter how annoyed we get. Hippie Sue says, I love your parents too. Thank you. Betty Harper says, I've got family like that and I love them too. Desrat says, we just want our family back. Oh, I am so with you guys. We are. Totally with you. Okay. All right. 28 minutes. Let's look at 8. Okay, so Ghoulaine, the jury's still out. They're going back in and deliberating today. The jury has been told to deliberate, if they're going to continue to deliberate for an hour longer each day. And if they haven't come up with a verdict by New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, that they should deliberate New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, because the judge is worried about Omicron, the COVID variant that is spreading so horribly that so anyway, I wanted to have a look at the jury. Basically, spike. The question's written out as, will the spike in New York City's Omicron cases affect the verdict schedule of Ghoulaine's court case? But I think I'm leaning I'm kind of leaning that a little bit more toward, what is their verdict going to be? What are they still debating? The longer they take, the more I'm just like, really? How can, I don't get it. I don't get it. Lynn Halliday says, good parents will give you wings and let you fly. Exactly. I always say that good parents, they take their kids and they kind of throw them as far forward like to do better in life than they did. And then it's your job, if you're a parent, to take and throw them as far forward as you can. And each generation doing what they can to help. To me, that's a good parent. But all right, back to Ghoulaine, back into this nasty, horrible energy. All right, trial, jury. Guys, really? Really? The Ghoulaine jury. Looking at the evidence and walking off to deliberate. The evidence, there's something a little bit chaotic about the evidence. It wasn't presented, it was like good, but not presented in a really, it could have been presented better, is what that is saying. Allison, hey Allison, is there jury tampering going on? Well, let's see. King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, or sorry, King of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, Magician, Seven of Pentacles. Oh, this is all the evidence laid out. That's Epstein. That's Ghoulaine. This is what they did. This is the evidence all laid out. And it feels like they're going to come to decisions. It doesn't feel like it's going to be just a mistrial, is what this feels like. Could be lawyers, could be jurors. I'm not seeing anything here about Omicron messing them up. Charlene Gonzalez says they asked for a whiteboard and other things. Yeah. Thank you, Fran. Thank you. All right, jury. Since it's not feeling like illness is going to mess you up too much, I find I'm worried. And I'm not alone. I find I'm worried about this, and it just feels like that energy just resonates. There are so many people watching this who are afraid that these monsters are just going to walk away. And the amount of pain that will just continue in the world. Strength. We need to conquer this beast. Not literally, because you know how I feel about cats. Even wild cats, they don't need to be conquered. But anyway. Jury. Three of Cups. King of Swords. Moon. Eight of Swords. Page of Pentacles. This is starting here. This is not a happy card. This is the parties that went on with the women. This is a prosecutor. This is the amount of grief and pain that was created. This, Okay, this does feel like her being hemmed in. Doesn't there may be some civil cases too. There will be some civil cases too. For what it's worth, it feels like they're being very careful. I'm not getting tampering. I'm not getting no, I'm not getting tampering, and I'm not getting you know, oh, she didn't do anything, it doesn't matter. It feels like they're just being very, very careful. Like sometimes in cases, people will go in, the first thing they do when they sit down is the lead juror will say, okay, everybody, just show of hands, who thinks this person is guilty, who thinks this person is not guilty. I'm not even sure they did that. I mean, they may have, but it doesn't even feel like, it's like, okay, we're going to go through very carefully everything. Oh my gosh, thank you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Bicus de Lago? Legao? Bacchus de Lago? Thank you. London Mercury says, I think there'll be some guilty and some not guilty on the charges. Yeah, ish. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, but I don't know. Lynott saying, I think they're trying to determine per charge. Yeah. One last look. Three cards. Ghoulaine Maxwell, jury. How's it looking? Ace of Pentacles. Justice. World. Strength. She's toast. She's toast. It's three major arcana: justice, world, strength. It's the end. The end. You're done. Wow. And these are all strong women. You're toast. There's something. There is a piece of evidence there that tilted. It was like maybe it was like, to me, like that picture of her rubbing Epstein's feet while she, like falling out of her shirt, that it's something that was just like, there was some piece of evidence. There was something that got the jurors to go, this, I'm innocent, or I was a victim, or I didn't know. No, there was something that pushes them over. It's like, no, but they're going through it very, very carefully. She is toast. She is lightly browned on both sides. You're done. Lady, you are done. And good riddance. All right. I don't know. You'd think some of the charges would come back not guilty, but those cards and that energy, that says done, just buried. Karen B says men will never be charged. It's a typical good old boy network. Yeah, that's kind of the worry. But, okay, at 40 minutes in. Oh boy. Villages and coastal communities around the world are losing the fight with erosion, rising seas, climate change. Coastal communities in Mexico, Bangladesh, and Somalia are struggling to adapt to the climate crisis. Many people have already lost livelihoods and homes to rising waters. The question was, is there any relief in sight, and how much land could we possibly lose in the U.S. in places like Florida and California? Greta, prison for life? I think so. And Revolution Ricky says, whomever hurts a child, I believe there's a special place for them. Oh yeah, when she leaves her vessel, she's not going anywhere nice. Not yet. She'll be on a trickle charge, like they all are. You know, they're always connected to the divine. They're always connected to the collective. But her energy right now is so low, so awful. Their vibration's so. Lynn Halliday saying, I get one charge, is not, but the other two charges guilty. Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Man. Actually, there's a, I was looking at astrocartography. If you go to, it's a little more complicated, but if you go to astro.com and you go to their extended selection of charts, there is one under, is it under special charts or something? Anyway, it's kind of hard to find, but it's there. It's astrocartography. And it was saying, basically, you know, if I was going to move somewhere in the US, I was trying to figure out where to go. Before I moved here, I was trying to figure out, okay, where do I want to go? And do I want to just go back to Chicago, or do I want to go somewhere else? And I want to be with my family, so I'm back in Chicago. But I had a look, and it was saying, it was saying that I should not, or if I wanted to move out to the area of like Utah, Nevada, that sort of part of the country, there's the way my astrology chart is set up. If I was there, it was like, oh, you know, here you could experiment in polyamorous relationships and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, no, thank you. No. No. Okay. Bye. No. Let's go to LA. Bad. Let's go to New York. Bad. Bad. But there's this little triangle of space right around Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. There's this little triangle on the continental US, which would be very fortuitous for me, apparently, if I lived there. I hear it's expensive. I don't know. I was looking at that, and it was like, how much of this is going to be underwater? Revolution Ricky is saying, Autumn, please send me 25,000 bags of Jay's potato chips. LOL. Just kidding. I was born in Chicago. Okay. Karen B says, my areas tell me to go more east. But how much of the coast are we going to lose? Queen of Cups. That's not good. She's on the water. She's on this little bit of land and just surrounded by water. Seven of Wands, Three of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, Two of Wands, Empress. We've had to fight with these morons. Matter of fact, somebody was saying in this article that in the Democratic platform, there's still I guess, some protections for big oil or something. I can't remember exactly. It was like, really? Thank you, Arlene. This is bad. Communication. Where it's growing, the fight against climate change is growing, but it's still, we've been saying no. There's that new movie, Don't Look Up, with Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio, I think it is, where they're trying to, it's like with climate change. It's like there's this giant asteroid, it's about to hit the Earth and kill us all, and nobody's paying attention. Nobody cares. They're talking about climate change. And there was a scientist who said, I'm a climate change scientist. I've been saying this for decades. And nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. And we've been fighting back against this far right, no, everything's fine, for so long. It's growing, but it's still right in the center. Moneyed interest and their propaganda. So I guess I hate to say this, but it's like the only good news here is that we have a lot of land in the middle of the country. Doxy Mom says, don't look up. Don't look up. Meryl Streep's character is a mix of Trump and Sarah Palin. Aditya is saying, on one hand, Musk wants to remove combustible engines, but on the other hand, he launches multiple rockets that emit all sorts of toxic gases. Bit hypocritical. Oh, we're looking at him, I think. Yes, he's number 9 today. I have my issues with Mr. Musk. Thank you, Marmy. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, so at 48 minutes in. Oh, here we go. New films like Don't Look Up show just how out of touch we are as a whole and what's going on with Earth's climate, how to protect it. Will we learn our lesson before it's too late? This is kind of similar to the previous question. I could have sworn I saw a headline this morning. It was something like somewhere out west in the mountains got like 17 feet of snow or something crazy. And it turns out it's not enough. And they've had their first avalanche that has it killed some poor skier. It's going to be crazy, guys. And you know how I was saying a little earlier about how our job is to take young people today and help them as far forward, yeet them as far forward into progress and success as we possibly can. This is not it. 2 of Pentacles. Water, land, everything topsy-turvy. As a matter of fact, if you guys know there's a particular kind of commercial real estate, or commercial building, I should say, that you find, I usually see it in like suburbs, but it's like a corrugated metal walls they're nice windows, and there's like a metal roof or something, but it's very sturdy. This is not a wooden building, and it's usually commercial real estate. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Even if it's just one floor, but that particular kind of commercial real estate. For years I've been looking at that when I drive past something like that, and I think, when are they going to start building houses out of that? When are we not going to be able to have these wooden frame houses anymore? The steel buildings, yes, SB Third Eye. Or it's just not going to be an option. I mean, in traditional Japanese homes, you basically had these pillars and the lintel, the whole thing, and the walls were paper, and there was like a sort of basement room underneath the room, and the kitchen was like recessed down so that the fire you'd build in the kitchen would heat the air underneath the rooms, and that's why you have so many Japanese pictures about sitting on the floor. It's because that's where the heat was coming from. But the reason the walls were paper or very thin is because of all the earthquakes. You could not live in a brick. There were too many earthquakes. You couldn't live in a brick building even if you wanted to. And the whole their whole architecture was built on this instability, environmental instability they had to deal with. Is that where we're headed? Doxy Mom says metal is cheaper than wood to build with right now. Oh, really? Huh. Oh, boy. Divine Spirit, pour your energy down into the world. Fill up the world to overflowing with divine energy of the highest vibration for safety, for health, to open minds to what needs to be done for the good of all. Bless. I don't even need to go through the cards. It's just bad. It's just bad. Cat Shepherd says brick houses have hundreds of thousands of joints that can fail. Yeah. Sandra Moore says boxable, $50,000 portable, ready-to-use homes, all metal. Yeah. GM Davis saying dome structures can withstand high winds best and are better in earthquakes. Holly Wanda says domes survive earthquakes, wind, and shed water efficiently. Yeah. Yeah. Tiffany Lilly saying, do you believe in spirit guides? Oh, yeah. Yeah. It makes I think it makes me sound like I'm crazy, but yeah, I do. They're right there. Always wanting to help. So, all right, at 50, that was depressing. 54:30. Doesn't mean we're going to give up, but we get, we are people here. We are new age news junkies, so we get bad news sometimes, and we just keep fighting the good fight. That's what we do. All right. So that's only 55. States such as Maine, Hawaii, and Tennessee are hoarding the money they receive from the U.S. government for TANF assistance. Basically, let me TANF. Hang on. It's assistance money. For example, if you follow the link in the description, it says Bonnie Bridgeforth supported 5 children with an $8.50 an hour job when she was told she no longer qualified for welfare in Maine. But the state, like so many others, was sitting on a huge stockpile of funds. It's welfare funds. So let me change this to welfare. I'll just put welfare assistance. The alphabet pot of alphabet letters isn't always helpful. So states such as Maine, Hawaii, and Tennessee are hoarding the money they receive from the U.S. government for welfare assistance, while not paying it out to their citizens who desperately need help. Will this be reformed? Will this be fixed? 5 kids, jeez, bless. I agree, Greta. We must get the right people in office. Judgment. That's my card for election day. Four of Swords. 4 of Swords, 5 of Swords. King of Wands. 3 of Wands. 2 of Swords. So they're not being forced to do anything with it. So they're tough. Insult to injury. Leave the people hurting. It's like Joe Manchin coming out and saying he wasn't going to support. Thank you, Debbie Johnson. TANF is Temporary Aid Needy Families. Thank you. Joe Manchin came out and he said he didn't support his people getting in West Virginia getting some money. They were only going to use it for drugs. Makes me crazy. How many children are going to suffer because of his insufferable viewpoint? And in these states, what are you doing? Oh, yeah, they're all welfare queens. They're all living off the state while you're working hard. It's not that simple. This is a decision. This is just the answer. Vote. Got to vote these people out. So will we? Don Gubb says, but they're pro-life, sigh. Yes. Joy. Huh? I see one of my nephews. He's so cool. He's getting his PhD in biomedical engineering. Like you do. Much smarter than I am. A 6 of Wands. Far right victory. Yick. Ugh. The Three of Wands. Four of Wands. Page of Cups. Yeah, how there's children being hurt. Seven of Wands. Oh, these blankety blanks. 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, and what is the what's the wealth gap up to now? How much money the rich have compared to the average? And children are suffering. I'm not getting this getting better. I don't have this getting better without heavy duty voting. Heavy duty voting. This is all right wing, right wing, right wing. So if they're on the defensive, maybe something will get better, but we have to vote. We have to vote. Actually, for the record, I think all four of my, I don't have any nieces, just want to say that up front. I think all of my nephews are smarter than I am, and I'm happy with that. I want them all to be successful and happy. I want them to have good lives. Greta says, please donate to all the Democrats who are running for the Senate in 2022. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're at 102.30. Oh, Elon Musk. 102.30. Elon Musk's Starlink satellites have nearly caused several collisions with the Chinese space station, resulting in much ridicule from the Chinese government. The Chinese government had to move their space station because of Elon Musk's satellites. Look, I'm no fan of what the Chinese are doing. I'm just not. But what I want to know is while Musk continues to think he's doing nothing wrong, is anything going to pop this egomaniac's bubble? He thinks he is above everybody else, beyond everybody else. I don't care. I mean, I was just saying how I think my nephews are smarter than I am, and I'm happy with that. But they're also nice people. And ultimately, that's what's going to matter. They care about other people. This guy's gone through doesn't he have like 6 kids by how many women? Has he ever been married? Ever made a commitment to another human being? He's a giant id that the world is encouraging, and that's just no. Enough of the egomaniacs. Thank you, Dawn. All right, 8 of Cups. This is the emotions. It's just left behind. Queen of Cups. 7 of Cups. Emperor. 6 of Pentacles. Fool. Not until he does something extraordinarily stupid, which is a matter of time. It's a matter of time until he does something extraordinarily dangerous. But right now, there is nothing. He feels he is bestowing his greatness on us. Sandra Morris is saying Elon Musk is Icarus. There we go. Teresa Ford says, I do invite him to leave the planet as soon as his soonest possible convenience. Anthony Roccanello, hello. He must be a nightmare to be with or deal with. World. I don't think I've ever looked at this guy's chart. I've got to look at his chart. 10 of Swords, 2 of Wands, Knight of Pentacles. There are people who think they can make money by supporting him and feeding his ego. But there's a lot. He's leaving a lot of pain and damage in his wake. And not just personally. His grand ideas are not considerate of others, let's put it that way. So basically, he's just going to continue for a while. Just blessing us with his existence. Please. Okay, 108. Okay, 108. Oh, right. It's more like 107, 45. All right, the January 6th Select Committee is using the Sarbanes-Oxley Act to obtain felony convictions for rioters. Will it hold up in court? Links in the description. It has to do with copy. Paste. Prosecute January 6th Capitol rioters. Government tests novel legal strategy. As the first trials approach, some defendants are challenging use of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act to obtain felony convictions and stiff sentences. And you would think, wait a minute, they've already taken some people. What do you mean starting some as the first trials approach? Well, I had this on my phone. Yeah, I've got the full, it's behind a paywall there, but I get Apple News. So I can show you prosecute rioters, government tests a novel legal strategy. And around 700 people who stormed the building have been arrested this year, including more than 200 who face charges of assaulting officers or engaging in other violent conduct. About 150 of the rioters have pleaded guilty, many to misdemeanor crimes, including entering a restricted federal building. So prosecutors have turned to a provision in the 2002 Sarbanes-Oxley Act, enacted after the accounting fraud scandal and collapse of Enron, which imposes a potential 20-year sentence on those convicted of obstructing an official proceeding. The measure expanded what counts as obstruction and closed loopholes used by people involved in the Enron fraud. Karen B says Sarbanes deals with accounting stuff, whatever works. And Karen B, yes. Now, prosecutors have offered to drop additional charges for some of the rioters if they plead guilty to that count and accept punishment that would likely involve more than 3 years in prison. Several have taken the deal, at least 2 sentenced to date along those lines. Others have rejected those conditions and are arguing in court that the law is meant to apply to obstructing pending investigations rather than an event like the certification of the electoral votes, which some of the defendants describe as a pro forma event that was ceremonial. Aha. What you will find interesting, arrested approximately 710, charged with corrupting, obstructing, influencing, or impeding an official proceeding, or at least 270, charged with assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers or employees, at least 220. 75 of those have been charged with using a deadly or dangerous weapon or causing serious bodily injury to an officer. At least 145 have pleaded guilty, and 45 have been sentenced so far, and 19 of those have been sentenced to a period of incarceration. So this is the current status. Oh, come on. You worked a second ago. Don't do that. Quit. All right. It was whiting out. But it's this little graph. So there's a lot more to come. And this is what they're using. But they're trying to say it doesn't work. It's not, oh, that has nothing to do with us. So will this argument hold up in court? Okay. Tia A says, Elon has rules for the women in his life. They all have to get along, no exceptions, current and exes. Pinhead, I'll get along or not get along with whoever I choose to. Deal with it. Then again, I wouldn't go for this guy in the first place, so. Sorry, I'm shuffling on my leg because it's very loud if I do it on the standing desk. All right, is this going to work to hold these people accountable? Sitting pretty. I'm not going to prison. I'm blonde-haired and blue-eyed, and I have a good job. Yeah, she just actually reported to prison. That's what I read. Devil, yeah. 5 of Devil, 5 of Swords, which is the insult to injury card. Chariot, law enforcement. Queen of Swords. They're making a very small argument. This is a messenger, but this is a page. This is a page. These people, there's this and there's this. This is what they did. This is what they're arguing now. And they're trying to say, oh, it wasn't that big a deal. Criminal? Ha. I'm entitled. I'm white. What's your problem? The reality is how corrupt what they did was, how awful it was, how hard law enforcement's coming for them, and how much law enforcement is coming for them. They're nothing. They're pipsqueaks. They're just, you think you're all that and you're not. Law and order. Say you're for law and order? Well, guess what? That applies to you. There's more coming. There's more coming for these people. They're not all going to skate. And it's going to be a rude awakening for many, many, many of them. Wow. All right, 116 and a bit. 116, say 30. Okay. This one's a little bit more complicated, but President Biden is actually withholding a few documents from the January 6th Select Committee due to national security, stating they have no bearing on the riots that occurred that day. They have to do with, it's something about how certain people in the security apparatus get their information or something like that. So will this help the courts allow the information Trump's trying to protect? Will it, because Biden is pointing out, how do I put this? Trump doesn't want information. He says, I have executive privilege. He doesn't, but sure. Okay, I have executive privilege. And the current president is saying, no, you don't. But there are a few of these documents I do want to keep safe. They have nothing to do with the riots. It has to do with the security apparatus. So in the court cases where Donald Trump is coming forward and saying, I have executive privilege, this is important. And the whole point of executive privilege is that the president can get information from advisors and what have you without that being scrutinized, so he or she can get the best information possible. Well, if the current president is protecting some information, it's like, well, the stuff that's, will that give the judges a chance to say, well, the important stuff that is national security, that is important, is being protected. This other stuff is, you're not protecting anything except yourself, or trying to. That's what there's probably an easier way to say all that, but that's what I was thinking. So I thought we'd ask. So is President Biden making this exception going to make it more likely that the January 6th information, Trump's January 6th information, will be turned over? And 3 hours later, she got to the end of asking the question. Thank you, Nano. The star. Because Trump's so important. 9 of Swords, 5 of Wands, Hierophant, it's the government. 6 of Swords, 9 of Cups. Committee's going to get information. It's going to be all laid out, and there are going to be some people involved in the planning who are going to go to prison. That's what I get. The involved with the organizing, money, raising money, whatever it was. This is the government. This is worry and trauma, but mostly worry, because of the insurrection and the aftermath. So I don't think it's going to have a huge bearing, this particular little piece of it, but ultimately January 6th committee is a powerhouse, and they're going to get what they need. And there will be people held accountable. So I'll take it. Let's do that. Faye saying details, details, details. Those pesky little things. Yeah, like treason, sedition, que sera, sera. All right, 121. All right, our last question today. There is a new drug. I believe it's called Wegovy. It's recently been approved by the FDA to help with obesity. And it's not widely available it was already a diabetes drug, but it's going to become more widely available in 2022. And the only reason it isn't more widely available now is demand has wildly outstripped production currently. So really, I'm not necessarily asking about that drug, but I just want to know, making it perfectly clear that I don't believe in shaming. I believe in body positivity. I believe everybody should look the way they want to look. And a big can absolutely be gorgeous. Not just beautiful, but gorgeous. But I'm wondering, will humanity get to a point anytime soon where people can choose how big or small they are, I hope that makes sense. Will we reach a point anytime soon where we can choose how big or small? I do have a 140 cutoff today. Thank you, B. Smith, for reminding me. Thank you. All right. Temperance. That would be exactly what we're talking about here. Four of Swords, King of Cups, Five of Pentacles, Hierophant, Page of Cups. Is it coming? Yes. And somebody's going to make a whole lot of money. But it's going to be very much based on how much money you have, if you get access to it or not. This feels like some fits and starts, but yeah, they're going to try various things. Right now, it's pretty much surgery. Knock you unconscious. But if you're wealthy, youthfulness. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting in being able to control or decide what your weight is going to be. There's a certain amount of youthfulness that can come with in certain people. It can be better for your health, but that's not always the case. So I'm getting it feels like there's maybe this drug, there's a couple more. So Polly Wanda saying, I've lowered my concern about body image. As long as no one stares, I'm okay. Well, I mean, just look at, one of the things I like about The Expanse is Bobby, who's a Martian Marine. She's from Samoa. And she's fantastic. And she's not tiny, and she shouldn't be. She's awesome. Until the actress opened her mouth in The Mandalorian, there was a woman who was a main character in that in the first season. I can't remember her name. But until she opened her mouth and just suddenly spouted all of this right-wing garbage, it was nice to see a big, strong woman. It was great. So it's sad that she's actually not going to be there anymore, because she could have done so much good to help with body positivity. But anyway. Cat Shepherd says, I got born into a strapping Celtic Viking Basque body. Good for you. Wrestling Reed says she's a UFC fighter. There we go. Medical. But there's also an acceptance of what's attractive and what's not. That's opening up, which is good. 10 of Cups, 7 of Cups, 5 of Cups. It fits and starts. Trial and error. Yeah, so there we are. All right. That's going to do it for me for today. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I have no idea how much. I will be right back here tomorrow. I'm here 365 days of the year at 4 o'clock. It's 1:40 here in Chicago. At 4 o'clock, I will be over at the Book Art Media channel to do creative sprints like we do every day. Come along, bring your creative projects. Can be anything. Sewing, knitting, writing, newsletters, whatever your thing is. Some time to carve out of your schedule for some creative work, and we'll just spend the time between just encouraging you. That's it. That's the whole thing. So you're always welcome. Links in the description box. Other than that, I will be right back here tomorrow. Thank you. All right. Don't forget, you are never truly alone. And there are good days ahead. There are. All right. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.